So Cambridge Climate Lecture Series is an initiative that started last year. We're trying to bring the world climate experts to talk to a wider audience and to talk to the world about what we have to do about climate change right now. We want it to be a larger conversation and involve many different people to bring into the conversation. So that's why we want youth to be involved and to also give what they think about climate change and what is their hope and how can we solve this crisis.
So Climate Tracker is a network of more than 6,000 journalists. We are in around 150 countries, and what we do is train journalists and young people about how to communicate climate change, how to solve this crisis. So what we'll be trying to do with this program is to actually bring the conversation beyond the doors of this conversation, of this conference, and try to make it as broad, as interactive as possible. So I think Climate Tracker can bring a lot of voices from around the world, especially the Global South, to the Cambridge Lecture Series. And I think we can steer the conversation towards real in-the-ground things, because sometimes science gets detached from what's happening in the ground. But I think we can also educate through that to all these people and communities around the world that will be hearing us talking about science.
So I think that the great asset that CCLS has is that it has the capacity to bring first-hand knowledge from scientific and policy world to the wider world. And we have to make that available to inform the behavioral changes and the politic changes that we need. So I think what Climate Tracker and CCLS can do together is make this information go directly into the forefront of the climate fight in the Global South and also in the Global North, where our youth has to influence policy and work towards this systemic change that we need to solve.
Okay, so young people are really important because they are at the forefront of the fight, because they are young, so they are going to suffer the effects of climate change, and also because the involvement in society is wider than we actually understand in many ways. So these voices are really important to be put in media, to be put in science, because actually they have knowledge and they have a willingness to change society as well.
So young people is the future, and young people hold the key to unleash this systemic change that we need. And we see more and more that there's a huge generational gap in how we vision the climate solutions. And I think young people, especially the one that can bring this vision that we need to change. We need a radical social, political, economic change.
So what we will try to do is to make people around the world write about climate change and what they are feeling in their countries, what they are doing, what they want to change, etc. And the best writers will be published in the website of the Climate Lecture Series, and we will talk about them. So there will be a presentation happening in this series, and we will showcase the examples and say their names and talk about the impact that they are doing in their countries.
So Anna, we want to reach to the maximum amount of people, and we're live streaming these events. So we want to invite also Climate Tracker to organize these events all over the world where we're live streaming into different locations in the world, the CCLS lecture series. How can we reach to the people through these events?
So if it's directly, I guess they can tweet questions to the panelists, or we can be streaming it live, and then there's like YouTube channels to actually ask questions as well. But we could also, if there's a big difference of the time zone, we could also send it later, and they have like a discussion with an expert regionally on what it was said exactly there.
To engage young people, what we also need is to make them feel active and that they're making a change. So that's a very important part of this project together with Climate Tracker and CCLS. So we're trying to make young people's voices heard. So if you write for the writing competition, your voice is going to be heard, and the winner of that competition is going to have a little time to speak at CCLS alongside the climate experts.
So I'm so looking forward to the Cambridge Climate Lecture Series, because it's really important for us to bridge the gap between science and communication, and putting young people in between is what actually Climate Tracker loves doing. So great to collaborate with you.